The window blew out with a sharp pop. Snow hissed against the flames, and the second floor groaned like it was about to kneel into the street. The call had come in just after 2 a.m., the kind of hour when most of the town slept so deeply they never noticed the sirens. Engine 4 rumbled down Canton Street, chains clattering over frozen ruts, exhaust steaming like a locomotive. Jack Rose stood on the tailboard grabbing his mask, feeling the cold bite through his gloves. He'd worked winter fires before, but February had its own way of testing you. Snow piled against hydrants, handlines icing stiff within minutes, steam turning everything into a blind white wall. Dispatch had repeated the same phrase twice. Occupant possibly trapped on the second floor. Caller disconnected. That last part always sat wrong with him. People didn't disconnect because they felt safe. As the engine stopped, Jack jumped off and felt the heat immediately. A brief slap across the face before the cold swallowed it again. The duplex's Charlie side was already roaring, flames pushing out of 2 upstairs windows, rolling up into the black sky. The wind carried the smoke straight over the street, thick and angry. Lieutenant Harris pointed. "Rowe, Morales. Primary search, Bravo stairwell. Fast but clean. Watch the floor integrity." Jack nodded, pulled his hood tight and clicked his regulator into place. The sound of the mask sealing, that quick snap of suction, always grounded him. He followed Morales through the snow-slick yard, boots crunching over ice. A neighbor stood on the curb wrapped in a blanket, breath shaking, but Jack didn't look long. He never did before going in. Inside the front door, the heat punched harder. Smoke layered low, moving fast, turbulent, a sign things were shifting above them. Morales swept with the TIC, its green display flickering. "Stairs are straight ahead," he said, voice muffled through the mask. They climbed quickly, one hand on the rail, one hand on the wall. The railing felt warm, too warm for comfort. Somewhere above, something popped, followed by the faint crack of timber. Jack slowed half a step. "Hear that?" Morales nodded. "We keep moving. We're clear on air." At the top landing, visibility dropped to near zero. Jack crouched, sweeping his gloved hand along the floor. The carpet fibers felt damp, almost sticky from the steam. He moved down the hallway, following the faint glow of flames leaking through a doorframe near the end. Then, a sound. Not a cry, not words. More like a thin, strained exhale. Jack froze. "Hold up. Someone's here." Morales swept the teak. Left side room. Heat signature low to the floor. Jack pushed the door. It resisted. Something was behind it. Not just debris, but weight. He leaned in harder, shoulder driving through until the door cracked just enough to slip inside. The smoke in the room was heavier, hotter, swirling like a storm with no center. He found her near the collapsed interior wall. A woman in her 30s, slumped on her side, one arm pinned under a fallen doorframe. Her face was suited, breath shallow and irregular. No mask, no protection, just raw exposure. Jack dropped to his knees. "Ma'am, I've got you," he said, voice steady even though she couldn't hear every word through the mask. He checked her airway, weak, compromised. Her pulse fluttered under his glove like it was unsure whether to keep going. Morales radioed, "Engine 4 to command. We have one victim located, second floor Bravo quadrant. Need RIT for extraction priority." The lieutenant answered with static breaking up. "Copy. Conditions. Moving fast. Get out if deteriorate." Jack braced a hand under the fallen frame and lifted. It shifted only an inch. The building groaned again, deeper this time. Smoke rolled across the ceiling like a slow boil. The temperature climbed enough that Jack felt the sting on his neck even through the hood. He looked at Morales. "We've got to move her now." They repositioned, Jack taking the majority of the lift while Morales pulled her legs free. The structure above them popped again, louder. A micro-revelation Jack didn't want. The ceiling was losing its fight. For a moment, everything paused. Just 2 breaths, 2 heartbeats. Jack stared at the woman's barely rising chest and felt a small, sharp memory of his first fatality years ago. The same helpless position, the same empty hallway. the same quiet doubt gnawing at him. He shook it off. Focus. Morales dragged the woman toward the door, but the hallway outside suddenly brightened, not with visibility, but with a rising orange glow. Rollover. Fire licking down from the ceiling like it was reaching for them. Jack pulled the woman closer, shielding her with his body. "We need out now," he said, but the radio only hissed. Then came the worst sound of the night. A long, low crack from somewhere above the stairwell. The floor shifted under them. Morales looked back, eyes sharp behind his mask. Jack felt the weight of the moment settle into his chest, and from deep inside the smoke, the woman gave one thin, fragile exhale, the kind that says time is almost gone. The stairwell groaned. A sheet of embers drifted past, and the heat on the landing rose like someone had opened a furnace door beneath them. Jack tightened his grip on the woman's coat, dragging her a few inches farther from the collapsing frame. Morales crouched in the hallway, scanning the rollover creeping along the ceiling like a burning tide. The temperature warning on Jack's TIC chirped once, a tiny beep that always meant the same thing: time's almost up. "Bravo stairs might be compromised," Morales said. Jack knew the tone, controlled, clipped, hiding worry under experience. "Check the rail," he said. Morales reached out and touched the metal. Hot. Too hot. That was bad. If the rail was transmitting that much heat, the fire below wasn't just active. It was climbing. Jack looked at the woman again. Her breaths were faint, barely lifting her chest. He knelt, adjusted her head position, and spoke softly through the mask. "Hey, stay with me, we're getting you out." He didn't know her name, her story, or who might be waiting for her outside. Didn't matter. Nobody left alone in a fire. Not on his watch. A sudden thud shook the second floor. Dust trickled from a seam in the ceiling. Jack felt the vibration through his knees. Another micro-revelation. The structure wasn't just groaning. It was shifting. He radioed. "Engine 4 interior. We may lose the Bravo stairs. Need alternative egress." Only static came back, not even a hint of command. Morales tried. "Command, do you copy? We have one victim. Need coordinated vent." Again. Static, broken by a faint tone. Jack exhaled. Radios failing at the worst moment. Nothing new, nothing comforting. He scanned the hallway. There was a window at the far end, but flames were already pushing toward it from the Charlie rooms. That path would roast them. "Check the Alpha bedroom," Jack said. "Might have a window that isn't compromised." Morales moved fast, sweeping with the TIC. He pushed the door open and disappeared inside. Jack heard him moving debris, shifting furniture, boots crunching glass. A few seconds later, "Windows intact, but we've got fire under us. Feel that heat?" Jack did. The floor now radiated through his turnout pants, that slow, dangerous warmth of fire chewing through joists. They were standing on borrowed time. He adjusted his position, pulling the woman closer. A quiet memory surfaced. A training officer years ago, telling rookies the truth they never forget. When the building starts talking to you, listen. It's telling you how it plans to fail. A soft gasp came from the woman. Not a word. Just a thin, instinctive reaction to pain or fear. Jack placed a steady hand on her shoulder, just enough pressure so she might feel someone was there. Not poetic, just human. Morales returned, helmet streaked with soot. "We can make the Alpha window, but we'll need a ladder crew outside." "They're buried in Charlie side fire," Jack said. He knew the vent team wouldn't be at that window yet, not with wind pushing flames across the roofline. Another crack snapped through the hallway, sharper this time. Morales looked up. "That's joists." Jack agreed. Too quick, too loud. He took a breath, forced calm into his voice. "We try for the Alpha room. Better odds than the stairs." They repositioned. Jack lifted the woman under her arms, Morales taking her legs. The drag through the smoky hallway was slow, grueling. Firelight flickered on the walls in brief flashes, like someone was turning a dimmer knob up and down. Rollover deepened overhead, tongues of flame reaching lower with each wave. Halfway down the hall, the entire floor trembled. Both firefighters froze. A heavy shift traveled through the beams beneath them, like the house had exhaled in pain. Morales whispered, "Jack, so we're losing it." "I know." They kept moving. Short bursts, controlled steps, each one feeling the floor with their boots before committing weight. Jack's SCBA hissed louder now, each inhale scraping through the rising heat. His low-air alarm was still silent, but he felt the consumption climbing fast. The woman's head brushed his shoulder. She didn't respond. Inside the Alpha bedroom, the temperature was slightly lower, but only by degrees. Morales cleared glass from the window with his tool, shards falling into the snow outside. If ladders out there were golden. If they're not, Jack asked. "Then we jump," Morales said, half a grim joke, half truth. Jack positioned the woman near the sill, supporting her head. Through the smoke-browned glass frame, he could see nothing, just haze, wind, and faint lights. No ladder tip, no silhouettes, no rescue line. He keyed his radio again. "Engine 4 interior to any exterior unit. We are at Alpha window with one victim. Need a ladder now." Static. Then a faint pop. Then nothing. Another micro moment. Jack felt his stomach tighten. Not fear, not panic. Just the weight of responsibility settling deeper. If help didn't come soon, they'd have to improvise something dangerous. Morales leaned out the window, scanning the yard. "I don't see anyone." Jack shifted closer. "Anything?" "Just snow and steam." Behind them, a beam cracked like a gunshot. The sound punched through the room and dust fell in a sudden rain. Jack's instincts snapped to full alert. The building wasn't warning them anymore. It was choosing its moment. Then, from far below, came a voice shouting through the wind. But not a firefighter. Not command. Not anyone they expected. A voice rose through the snow. A pounding hit the siding, and the wind carried a desperate shout straight into the burning room. Jack froze at the sill. Morales leaned out again, scanning the yard below. The flames shifting behind them cast the room in a pulsing orange glow, every flicker sharpening the sense that time was shrinking. "There," Morales pointed. "Left side. Someone's running up." Jack squinted through the haze. A man burst through the drifting steam, coat half zipped, face red from cold. Not fire personnel, civilian. He waved both arms like someone trying to flag down a passing train. "Hey, someone's in there!" he yelled. Morales muttered, "No kidding, buddy." The man shouted again, voice cracking. "My sister, second floor, is she's..." His words dissolved under a gust of wind. Jack felt that hit low in his chest. Sister. So this woman had someone waiting for her after all. Someone willing to sprint through a bitter winter night toward a burning house without a second thought. It didn't change their situation, but it added weight to it. A quiet human pressure. A reason to keep pushing even when the structure moaned around them. "Where's the ladder?" Jack called out. "The trucks are coming around," the man shouted. "They said they're repositioning." Repositioning, meaning not here yet. And judging by the heat swelling behind them, they didn't have a minute to spare. Morales stepped back from the window. "Jack, we're almost out of floor. Feel it?" Jack did. The boards under his boots sagged just slightly with each shift of weight, the kind of subtle give that meant fire was chewing through the subfloor. They maybe had 30 seconds before the bedroom dropped into the first floor like a broken elevator. "Okay," Jack said. "We prep her for a window exit, fast." They lifted the woman again, setting her upright enough to brace her at the sill. A quiet breath slipped from her lips, a soft, tired sound. Jack steadied her head, fingers brushing her hairline. A human moment flashed through him. "Don't quit on me. Not now." But he said nothing. No time. Behind them, another beam popped. The room shook lightly, debris sprinkling across their shoulders. Morales cursed under his breath. "Jack, floor's going." Jack looked back. A line of darkened carpet bubbled near the center of the room. The burn-through was starting to show. "We're out of seconds," he said. "We're going through the window whether ladder's here or not." Morales nodded once. No argument, no hesitation. He climbed onto the sill, clearing more glass with a quick hammer strike of his gloved hand. Shards clinked into the frozen grass below. Jack shifted the woman into position, wrapping his arms around her torso from behind. "Grab her legs," Jack said. Morales did, bracing with one knee on the weakening floor. Jack leaned out first, testing the angle. It was a drop, not lethal, but enough to break bones if they landed wrong. Snow softened it, but not much. The wind slapped his helmet, stinging his neck. "On my count," Jack said. 3, 2... A loud boom roared behind them. Heat surged forward like a wave as flames ripped through the hallway and into the bedroom. Rollover snapped into full ignition, painting the ceiling in solid fire. Morales flinched. "Jack!" "I know!" Jack forced himself steady. "We go now!" Morales pushed the woman outward toward Jack. Her body sagged between them, unconscious, limp, fighting gravity. Jack pulled her across his chest, twisting awkwardly as he hooked one arm under her armpit and the other around her waist. The floor beneath Morales gave a deep, hollow whomp. A section sagged 5 inches. He barely kept his footing. "Go!" Morales shouted. Jack launched himself out the window, hauling the woman with him. The cold air punched him instantly, brutal compared to the furnace inside. For a split second, he hung suspended, weight, gravity, everything balancing in a strange moment of silence. Then they dropped. Jack twisted mid-air, taking the fall backward so she landed across him rather than the frozen ground. The impact slammed through his spine, knocking the breath from his lungs. His mask clattered sideways but held. Snow exploded around them in a muffled burst. He lay still for a half-second, checking the woman's position. She was on his chest, limp but intact. He felt, mercifully, the faint rise of her ribs against him. Morales hit the ground a moment later, landing hard but controlled. He rolled, groaning once. "I'm good," he said, breath tight. "I'm good." Above them, the bedroom window belched fire outward, flames curling into the night like a living thing. The entire second floor roared in a rapid-fire sequence, each gust darker than the last. The civilian, the brother, sprinted toward them. "Is that her? Is that—" Jack raised a hand. "Back up! EMS is inbound!" The man stopped, shaking, eyes locked on the motionless figure in Jack's arms. He didn't speak, didn't breathe, just waited. Jack checked her pulse again. Still fluttering, still fighting. He spoke softly, almost instinctively. "You're out. Stay with me. You're not alone." A siren wailed closer. Snow whipped sideways. The fire roared above them, louder than ever. And then the ground vibrated, not from flame, not from collapse, but from something happening inside the house they hadn't yet seen. A sharp metallic screech erupted from the structure. Morales looked up at the roofline. Jack followed his gaze and felt his heart tighten. Something inside the duplex was shifting again. Something big. The roof snapped like a steel cable breaking. A vibration rolled through the snow, and the entire house seemed to inhale before something deep inside began to fail. Jack pushed himself upright, keeping the woman cradled against his chest. Morales stood beside him, staring at the duplex like he was reading the last seconds of a clock. Flames licked out of the second-floor windows in long, angry ribbons. Smoke curled into the sky in thick, pulsing waves. The brother hovered a few feet away, eyes wide, trembling, unsure whether to rush forward or stay back. Jack raised a hand again. "Let us work. She's breathing." That one line steadied the man. Not much, but enough to keep him from making a dangerous mistake. Engine crews sprinted toward them from the Alpha side, dragging a charged line. A ladder company hustled in from the street, boots punching through hard snow, tools clattering. Someone shouted, "Second floor collapse potential, clear the Charlie quadrant." Jack glanced at Morales. They both knew what that meant. Whatever they'd escaped was about to come down, and soon. A rumbling growl rose from inside the duplex, a structural shifting sound Jack recognized instantly. It wasn't wood failing. It was deeper, foundation level. When a building makes that noise, it's not threatening to collapse. It's deciding to. "Move her back," Morales said. Jack gathered the woman gently, and shuffled several steps toward the street, knees stiff from the impact of the fall. The brother helped clear snow, pushing aside chunks of ice. Jack lowered her onto a dry piece of turnout tarp that a firefighter slid beneath them. EMS pulled in with their rig, brakes hissing. 2 medics rushed over, bags slung across their shoulders, monitor already warming up. "What have we got?" one asked. "Female, mid-30s, smoke inhalation, possible crush injury, unknown downtime," Jack said. His voice stayed calm, steady, not clipped, not rushed, just the facts. Weak but present pulse. Respirations shallow, no significant bleeding. The medics positioned themselves quickly, slipping an oxygen mask over her face, checking her vitals. One medic lifted an eyelid and frowned. "She needs to move now." "Do it," Jack said. As they worked, Jack removed one glove and placed 2 fingers against her wrist again, confirming for himself. The pulse flickered weakly, but it was still there. A fragile rhythm, a human fight. Behind them, the duplex groaned again. This time, the sound carried a cold certainty. Morales stepped beside him. "Jack, that's the big one." Jack turned. Flames surged along the roofline in a sudden, hungry wave. The ridge beam bowed inward, glowing a dangerous orange. Then, the unmistakable rumble of collapse rolled across the yard as the second floor folded downward. The roof punched through in a slow, heavy fall, throwing a plume of sparks into the night. Snow lit up in bright orange flashes as embers bounced across the yard. Jack shielded the woman with his body, while the medics ducked low. A wave of heat washed over them, hot enough to sting even at a distance. The brother shouted her name through the roar, voice cracking, raw with fear. When the fire settled into a lower, guttural burn, Jack stood again. The duplex was half its size now, roof leveled, second floor gone. If they had stayed 90 seconds longer, the collapse would have swallowed them whole. One medic checked the woman's pulse again, nodding. "She's holding, let's load." The brother stepped forward as the crew lifted her onto the stretcher. Is she gonna make it?" Jack didn't hesitate. "She's got a fighting chance." It wasn't a promise. It wasn't false hope, just the truth. Steady, realistic, respectful. As the stretcher rolled toward the ambulance, the brother stopped beside Jack. "You didn't know her, man. You didn't even know her." Jack simply nodded. "Didn't need to." The man swallowed hard, eyes glassy but controlled. "Thank you for not letting her, go through that alone." Jack looked at the collapsing structure, steam rising like a fading breath. "Nobody deserves that," he said quietly. A brief silence settled, not dramatic, not poetic, just a moment of 2 people standing in the cold night, both carrying weight in different ways. The ambulance doors shut with a firm click. The rig pulled away, tires crunching over snow and ice. Jack exhaled, feeling the sting of cold fill the space where heat had lived inside his gear moments before. Morales clapped a hand on his shoulder. "We got her out, Jack. That's the job." Jack nodded, gaze still on the road where the ambulance taillights faded. "Yeah," he said, "but sometimes it feels bigger than that." They stood there a little longer as crews extinguished the remaining hotspots. Snow drifted across the charred remains of the duplex, wind nudging loose embers until they went dark. Jack finally turned back toward the engine. His gear was heavy, soaked, stiff with steam. His mask hung at his side, still warm from the fire. The night was quiet again. No roar, no cracking beams, no rollover above their heads. Just winter settling back into itself. And somewhere down the road, a woman he'd never met was alive because he refused to leave her in that room alone.